Good morning, happy Friday. You made it to the end of week 1. This is Miss Triangle. I'm going to make a video here for section 1-1, which is on points, lines, and planes. I'm also going to kind of, in this video, show you how your notes should be and how the Cornell style of note-taking is. Maybe you use this with a math teacher here at Heritage, Miss Eustis. I don't know who you've had. But if not, again, like I mentioned in our first Google Meet, there's a lot of research that the Cornell note-taking really helps your brain retain information. So especially if you reread your notes, but even if you don't, even if you hate it and grumble and just do it to get your 10 points, the very act of writing it in this format will help your brain remember things. And the second thing is it is sort of a school-wide initiative and goal. So that's another reason we'll be using that. So what do you need right now? A pen or pencil, your highlighter or colored pencil, marker, and a piece of notebook paper. If you're going to do it on your iPad, you should import an image of a blank piece of notebook paper to start. Then we're going to set up these black lines. So you can use your pen or pencil, it doesn't have to be black. And then on the very top blue line, you're going to take your pen or pencil, you're going to make a horizontal line going across. Then you're going to skip 1-2 lines and you're going to draw a second horizontal sideways line going across, skip 2 more lines, a third horizontal line. So you should have 3 horizontal sideways lines. Then a little bit to the right of the red line on your notebook paper, you are going to draw a vertical line going up and down, all the way down your paper. And over here, you're going to write questions. So this will be kind of for prompting questions. Okay. So then there's a few other things we're going to write in. So here was my questions. So I'm going to take my pen or pencil. I'm going to write EQ in between my first 2 pair of horizontal lines. I'm going to write EQ. I'm going to take my highlighter, whatever color that is, and I'm going to highlight it so that I, Miss Triangle, and you can find this information when I grade your notes and when you go to study. So EQ stands for essential question. It might not feel like it with this section of notes, but I'm actually all about saving your hand and writing the least amount possible. So EQ is an abbreviation for essential question. If you want to write that out, knock yourself out. Then you're going to write LT. This is an LT1. That's the number 1. 1A. Learning target 1A. Chapter 1. A was just the first one. And then you're going to please, oops, that's not my highlighter. That's my pen. You're going to highlight that as well. So please make sure you write all of that, learning target 1A, LT 1A, and not just LT. Okay, so that's what you should have so far. Next, on the top, you are going to put the date and the title. So the date is Friday, September 18th. You can write 9/18/20 if you prefer numbers. You can write Friday, September 18th if you prefer words. You should have the date and you should have the title, 1-1, points, lines, and planes. The S got a little cut off. That is planes. Okay, so those are required. It's part of your grade. It is also a great way for the end of the chapter when we've covered a ton of information. If you're doing the study guide and you email me and you're like, I don't get how to do question 10, I'll say, oh, look at your notes, section 1-1 from September 18th. And then since this will be at the top of your paper, you'll flip through and you'll easily find it. Okay? Then our essential question, you do need to copy the whole sentence. How do we name and label figures in geometry? How do we name and label figures in geometry? All right, so this section is basically kind of background information, vocabulary, formatting. It's going to feel a little different than most sections. It's being a little bit less traditional math feel. So if you like it, enjoy. If you hate it, don't worry. Most of the year will not be like that. Our learning target, our goal for today, you also need to copy this exactly how it is. I can identify, name, and describe basic geometric figures. So if you need to pause the video to write your essential question and your learning target, please do. Then for our questions, we're just going to have vocabulary words today. In the future, we'll do more with that, but I think this is enough for now. So our first vocabulary word is point. Please make sure you're highlighting your vocabulary words. Point. So what is a point? Your definition is it marks location and it has no size. So a lot of people probably think they know what a point is, a dot. That's true. In geometry, it really just marks a specific spot or location. So even if I draw an enormous dot, that doesn't mean it's a big point or a tiny dot. It actually has no size. So it's a little bit of a strange concept. All right, and then we're actually going to have kind of like 3 columns. So here in this column, these are going to be pictures, and these are going to be symbols. And this column over here, these are definitions. Definitions. So there's kind of 3 ways to talk about the words. So we have a definition, a picture. So the picture of a point would be just that little dot with a capital letter. Let's just do another one so you kind of see. So here could be another picture, a point with a capital letter T. So really, what do you need to know? No size, and it should be marked with a capital letter. The symbol is just that letter. So the symbol for point T would just be the T. You don't include a dot with the symbol. All right, so that is a point. Our second vocabulary word is line. So a line is a series of points that goes on forever in both directions. Here's my picture right here, line C. You can tell it goes forever in both directions because it has, and it has to have. This is important. It might feel nitpicky, but it's important. It needs to have an arrow on both ends. And you can have as many points as you want on your line. Okay, so we'll make this line ACE. When you do your symbol for the line, you can use, any of those points. So I could also call this line A. I could even use 2 of the points. I could call it line AE. Okay, those would all be the symbol. So the symbol is any of the points, 1, 2, or 3. I could even call it line ACE with that little line with 2 arrows overhead. That is the symbol. So if you need to pause so that you can get any of this information down, your notes should look exactly like this. All right, we've got several more words. So if you need to pause and take a break with the video, feel free, shake out your hand. Our next word is line segment. Line segment. So it's a series of points. It's like a line, but instead of going on forever, it has 2 endpoints. So this is line segment JB. So instead of having arrows, my picture has 2 endpoints. B and J are the endpoints. The symbol is your 2 endpoints with a little line with no arrows. I also could call this line segment. I could do the other direction too. Okay. All right, endpoint, there's not really a symbol or a picture for endpoint. I'm not going to do a definition because it's really just the endpoint of a line segment or array. So I just drew an arrow. J is an endpoint, B is an endpoint. Okay, our next word is collinear points. Collinear points. So in English, the prefix co means together, cooperate, work together. Linear, think about algebra. Linear means line. So together on the same line. Points on the same line or segment. So here's a picture of my line. I could call this line A, line R, line T, line art. That's my sense of humor. But points A, R, and T are collinear. So there's not really a symbol for collinear. It's just lines on the same point. Okay? And not all points are collinear. Maybe I could have another point over here, D. D would not be collinear. All right, a ray. A ray has 1 endpoint, so it's kind of a combination of a line segment and a line. It has 1 endpoint, so here N is my endpoint, and it goes on forever in one direction. So my line segment NM. The symbol, you use 2 letters, and notice the arrow is going towards the M. I could also go like this and call it MN, but my arrow would be going that way. Okay, So that is a ray.